Life isn't short, you just gotta do more.
I believe what you've just witnessed is the future to making money online. And it's not just Logan Paul. We can all do it.
The 99 originals.
99 originals.
99 originals.
Yeah, you may look at this 99 originals collection and say, oh, Logan Paul, what an idiot. He's just scamming people out of loads of money. But what he's done is he's demonstrated a new way of making money online. And I think I figured out how to do it. And I'm calling it Project EC. Bang.
The dirty's gone.
So this is what happened. Logan Paul had an idea that over the course of 90 days, he would take as many Polaroid photographs as he possibly could while doing some extremely cool shit. And at the end, he would choose 99 of them to include in a collection. This collection he called 99 Originals, where each original was minted as an NFT and auctioned off to the highest bidder. Now the key part here is that some of these NFTs also had a utility or a use case surrounding them. For instance, take this one. Now I don't know the story surrounding this NFT, but what I do know is that anybody that owns it has the right to go on the Logan Paul podcast. Now why don't you take a guess as to how much that NFT actually sold for? I'm going to give you 3 seconds before I roll the clip.
I am the idiot who bid $300,000 on Logan Paul's 99 originals.
Okay, this is all cool, but the real question that we want to ask here is how can people like you and me who are more or less starting from scratch actually unlock the earning potential that Project AE has? Well, firstly, you need to know what you're selling. Before you sell, you have to earn it by acquiring 3 attributes. We have influence, knowledge, and skill. Capture one of these attributes and you'll do quite well. Capture 2 of them and you'll do very well. But if you capture 3 of them, you can literally take over the world, as we've seen in many different occasions. So the question that we need to ask ourselves now is, how can we obtain one or more of these attributes? And the thing is, one of them is much more important than the other. But before I tell you, let's see if you can spot it in this example. Let's say I was the world's best poker player, and one day I decided to retire. But I'm a greedy f*** and I still wanted to make money. Now, as the world's best poker player, I have knowledge, I have skill, and I have influence. So I'm going to release 10 poker chips as NFTs and set them to auction. And if you bid the highest and end up owning one of these chips, this allows you to have a 1-hour call with me every month, where I'm going to teach you the secret to being the best poker player in the world. Now, to everyday people, this probably isn't worth paying for. But when you're a professional poker player competing for tens of millions of dollars, you would probably pay at least 6 or 7 figures for the slightest edge. So let's rewind back and say I was still retiring, but instead of being the best in the world, I was ranked 150th. Now, I still have immense knowledge and skill, but I'm lacking influence. In fact, I have far less influence than what I would have had if I was number 1 in the world. And I can't leverage that audience I have to inflate the price of demand of my product. You see, the value of what you have is all about supply and demand. If your supply outweighs your demand, people probably won't pay a lot for it. Logan Paul has, I don't know, 50 million followers, and he released 99 NFTs. Let's assume for argument's sake that 1% of his audience is a millionaire, and 1% of them is a true fan of Logan Paul. That still leaves 5,000 people to fight over 99 NFTs. In that case, the demand way outweighs the supply, which is why he banked over 2.3 million. Did you figure out what attribute was more important? It was influence, in case you couldn't tell. Now, before I reveal my master plan for how I think anybody can achieve these 3 attributes from scratch, let's say you have earned the right to sell. The key to understanding Project EC and how to get the most from it is to understand that you're only selling 2 things. Oh, I just forgot it. Exclusivity or community. Hence the name Project EC. Very creative, wasn't it? Let's take merch, for example. It's expensive, low margins, and it's very hard to be original. Yet influencers and YouTubers release them all the time. Now, I want you to ask yourself, what does the merch represent? It represents being part of a community. And with Project EC, you can do that better, faster, cheaper. Instead of owning a hoodie you only wear once, you instead flash your token on your virtual home screen, your social media profile, or the metaverse, if that ever happens. And we haven't even touched on the resale commission that NFTs allow you to integrate into the technology, but that's a story for another day. And I'm not only talking about personal influence here. If you're a company, you can make use of this too. Apple could easily release 1,000 iPhone NFT tokens that could give certain people access to the latest version of the iPhone 1 year before it's released. Realistically, these tokens would probably sell for at least $1 million each and generate Apple an extra $1 billion a year. All for writing a few lines of code. And what are they selling? Exclusivity. But we all can't be Apple, so here's the master plan. Firstly, pick a broad niche that you're going to want to focus on for the next 2 to 5 years. Secondly, you have to commit to posting and publishing content during that time in a regular period. Post pictures, blogs, TikToks, porn videos, whatever it is in your niche that will get you some form of influence. And not only in that time period will you start getting influence, but you'll also learn the knowledge and the skills you'll need to gain those extra 2 attributes in that amount of time. After you've built influence, decide whether you want to sell community or exclusivity based NFTs. Or if you're a badass, you could probably do both. Community works very well for Mr. Beast because he's a massive audience and he's in the entertainment niche. Whereas exclusivity works very well for people who have influence or particular knowledge in a topic like Paddy Galloway and YouTube. And we have 2 warnings. First warning, this is going to take a lot of time, so strap in and be in it for the long run. Last but definitely not least, your products will stay relevant as long as you are relevant. So don't f up. Something a bit different today, guys. If you liked it, let me know down below. If you didn't like it, let me know down below. See you in the next one. Salam.